In the quiet corners of the library, I found solace, lost in forgotten tales. Today, captivated by a novel of distant lands, time slipped away, unnoticed until the library's grandeur was veiled in an eerie silence. As I looked up, seeking the librarian's eye for a brief query, the emptiness echoed back, suddenly realizing I was utterly alone. The only sound was my own heartbeat, a frantic rhythm against the vast, book-lined walls. Gathering my things with trembling hands, I approached the exit, only to find the doors locked, the world outside receding into shadows. Panic fluttered in my chest like a trapped bird as my calls for help were swallowed by the towering shelves. The once comforting labyrinth of literature now seemed a sinister trap. I ventured back into the library's heart, seeking another way out. As I wandered, a chilling hum, a chant, crept through the darkness. Compelled by my curiosity, I followed the sound through a maze of shadows until I stumbled upon a hidden room, its existence marked by the flickering of a candlelight. There, encircled by musty books and ancient secrets, stood figures draped in robes, their faces hidden, gathered around an altar that seemed as old as time itself. My breath caught in my throat, heart pounding an erratic rhythm. Hidden in the shadows, I watched as they raised their arms in unison, their voices rising in a language I couldn't understand, but that filled me with an inexplicable dread. The cultists chant crescendos, an unnerving cacophony of ancient syllables vibrating through the stagnant air, echoing eerily against moss-covered stone walls. It was a ritual as old as time itself, and their mantra seemed to disturb the very fabric of reality, causing an unnatural chill to seep into my bones. Suddenly, with an abruptness that shocked me, their rhythmic chanting ceased. The silence that followed was oppressive, heavy, a muffling layer that swallowed all noise. It was as if the world itself was holding its breath, waiting for the next act of this unholy performance. One figure separated from the group, its movements fluid yet purposeful. It turned, seemingly aware of my hidden presence. My heart pounded, a harsh, frantic rhythm in my chest. The figure reached up, pulling back its hood in a single, swift motion, revealing a stern yet familiar face. It was the head librarian. Her voice, when she spoke, cut through the silence like a blade. "You should not have seen this," she declared, her voice laced with a cold, commanding authority that sent shivers down my spine. I stood frozen, unable to muster the courage to move or utter a word, as the others turned towards me. As their identities were revealed, I recognized them. They were townsfolk, people I had seen and interacted with, individuals I would never have suspected. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, as the others turned toward me, their faces a mix of townsfolk I'd seen in passing, people I'd never suspect. Before I could succumb to a scream, the head librarian raised her hand and the room spun. A strange calm enveloped me, a whispering lullaby coaxing me into darkness. When I awoke, I was lying on the library's front steps, dawn's early light spilling over me. The door was unlocked, swinging gently in the morning breeze. I staggered to my feet, every fiber of my being urging me to flee and never return. Yet, as I walked away, a shiver ran down my spine. The library stood silent and imposing, its secrets hidden once more behind an ordinary facade. But the echo of that night lingered in my mind, a haunting melody of what lurks in the shadows. From that day forward, I never set foot in the library again, yet the memory of that night, the sight of those hooded figures, and the sound of their chants haunted me. And sometimes, when the night is still and the wind whispers just right, I swear I can hear the faintest echo